All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to All About Opportunities. Today, we are going to be focusing on the importance of opportunities in Command, how you can really maximize them to help track your business and hopefully lead to some potential deals down the road. Also, the proper way to get that workflow going where you create the opportunity and then begin to work in Docusign. This class will be recorded and we are going to have it posted on the YouTube channel. If at any point in time you have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. Or go ahead and if the time is right, feel free to interrupt me and ask away. I do tend to talk a lot pretty fast without taking breaks. So if you do need to interrupt me, I promise you I will not be offended. Again, we're going to be recording this, so you will have the opportunity to view it again and again on YouTube. But for now, we are going to dive in and learn all about opportunities. So I currently have my Command dashboard up and loaded. And so I'm going to go ahead and go into the Opportunities applet, which is the little handshake icon. Now, when we talk about opportunities, we can be talking about one of two things. If we're talking about a singular opportunity, this is going to be an area where all of the information, all of the documents for one particular transaction are occurring. So whether you're working with a seller, a buyer, or a rental property, you will then create an opportunity, and that's where all of your documents will be housed. Ultimately, that's where you'll submit your commission request. So it's very important in order to get paid, which is what we all want to do. Additionally, when we're talking about opportunities as a whole, which is what's on the screen right now, we're talking about our pipeline. So while yes, the opportunities are necessary for deals that we know are happening, that are in progress, you can also utilize opportunities for clients that may not be ready to buy or sell their home, that maybe are not sure if they want to work with you, or maybe they don't even know what they're going to end up doing a month, a year, whatever length of time from now. But we can use the opportunities as a whole to build up our pipeline and stay on top of everyone to make those touches and build those relationships to hopefully turn these potential deals into deals. Now, when we're looking at our opportunities section here, we will see that there are three different pipelines available. So the dashboard has our pipeline set up for listings, buyers, and then all things rentals are going to be under the leases. You're also going to see that within each opportunity pipeline, you're going to have 5 stages. And within each of those stages, you have different phases. Now, the stages themselves cannot be changed. They're always going to be cultivate, appointment, active, under contract, and closed. But the stages that are underneath each of them can be customized to your liking. I'm going to go into the buyer here. Now, this is the standard. This is the default, how everyone's Command dashboard will look. Where under cultivate, you have it broken up into watch, nurture, and hot. When we go into appointment, scheduling, scheduled, kept, etc. Now, what's really great is that we do have the ability to edit these stages and tailor them to us. There's no rules about what you can or can't do. It's really designed to help you maximize the dashboard and use it to help boost your business and keep yourself organized. Now, I'm going to go into the cultivate section of my listing opportunities. And here we can see that I have customized these to reflect how many months out someone may be from making their decision. So in this example, I have 12 or more months out, 9 to 12, 6 to 9, etc., etc. Now, this is just one example that I learned from Nick Baldwin. You can go in here, you can copy this exact same thing. You can do anything however you want. Again, it's completely up to you. No one's going to say you're doing something wrong. You're not going to get in trouble, but you just want to do whatever you can do to help keep yourself organized and get yourself staying on track so you can review everything from time to time. Hi,
Can
Robin.
I ask a question? Hi.
Absolutely.
So right now we're in opportunities, and then you clicked on cultivate.
Yes.
Okay, so when I click on cultivate, I have nothing. It just says hot 10%. So that's because I don't have any in there.
So even if you don't have anything in that particular bucket, it should still show sort of just like a grayed out section here. And if you ever wanted to check to see what your different stages look like and how they're set up, we can do that by utilizing the Edit Stages button. So when you're clicked on Cultivate, you can then click on edit stages. And this is where we can make those changes, where we can add stages, we can delete them, we can edit them, we can rearrange them, etc.
Okay, so I have no stages at all. So I
Okay.
just have to go
So
and
you
make
can go
some
in.
stages.
Exactly. And again,
Okay.
this can be whatever you think is going to be best for you. You know, I particularly like this setup where you may have clients divided by how many months out they may be from making their decision, but it's completely up to you. And, you know, I'm not a realtor myself, so I don't actually do this in real life. So whatever you foresee setting up to making it easiest on yourself to keep everything nice and organized, it's completely up to you.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You got it, of course. And that was certainly a great question because I was able to show you guys where that edit stages button is. So again, when you're in any one of these phases, and I always flip phases and stages, I did that in the beginning. Whenever you're in any one of these main phases, you can edit the stages by simply clicking on the edit stages button. And then you can go ahead and if you wanted to rearrange them, you can do that. If you wanted to add a new stage, you can do that as well. You can also delete current stages. Now we see with all of these different stages, there are probability percentages assigned. We can go in and edit this. But this is great because this is going to help us visualize our probable and potential income. Now we see that there's different percentages, and as you move on and on through the progress of, or through the process of getting that client, nurturing that relationship, ultimately working with them and getting under contract, etc., those percentages increase because this means you're farther along in the deal, and that's a greater percentage of this deal closing and coming to fruition. So the system will calculate your probable income based off of any potential income that you put in the opportunity. I'll show you where we can edit all of that in just a little bit, but I like to show you the breakdown of where you can see everything based on the actual stage that it's in. So for example, if I'm currently in the negotiation stage with any of these opportunities here, there's an 80% chance that this deal is going to close. Now, so long as I put in a listing price or a buyer's budget when creating the opportunity, the system will then calculate what my probable and potential outcome would be. So in this negotiation section, for example, my potential outcome is $90,000 and my probable outcome is $72,000. That's because 80% of 90 is 72. So it's taking that percentage and saying, all right, there's a good chance that this is going to close. This is likely your commission based on the numbers we have here. We're also able to see our probable and potential income right on the main opportunities page as a summary for each of our opportunity pipelines. Now, again, I'm not a licensed agent myself. My dashboard is full of celebrities that I pretend that I know and that I do deals with. So these numbers are not at all accurate. I wish that they were, but we're able to see that in all of my pretend opportunities, I have a potential income of over $560,000, but my probable income is only at $244,000. That's because a majority of my opportunities live within the cultivate and the appointment phase. Additionally, if I don't plug in a number for our listing price or our buyer's budget, it's going to affect this calculation as well. And you can see here that we do have little summaries. So your potential income is going to be the total commission from all your listing opportunities, while the probable income is adjusted based on each stage's probability to close. So this is something that I don't think a lot of agents realize is here and is at our disposal. And it's a great, great tool to use. You know, when we're building up these pipelines, we're not only thinking about a week from now, a month from now, 3 months from now. You want to be building up this pipeline so you have business coming in for months and months to come. And by viewing this GCI, both probable and potential, it really helps to visualize those numbers. For me, I think that could work as a little bit of a motivator. And so for anything that you find beneficial, by all means, utilize it and use it. When we scroll down a little bit, we're also able to see a ratio breakdown of the types of deals that we have. So in my pipeline, I primarily have listings opportunities. 35% of my opportunities are for buyers and 11% are for leases. And this is also going to break down our probable and potential and give us these grand total numbers here. We're also able to see an activity tracker for all of the opportunities that we have, and we can break it down by type as well. So if I want to see my progress with buyers, I can see that in January I had 2. Now that we're at the end of the year, I have 34. So it, again, just is a great way for you to help visualize how your business is doing, how it has been doing, and how you can continue to nurture everything and keep everything growing. Does anyone have any questions so far about looking at the opportunities as a whole? And if not, that's a-okay. Again, feel free to pop those questions in the chat, or if you want to pop in, chime in and ask a question, by all means, please feel free. How do we see the grid? Jackie, good question. The grid, if you're referring to this at the bottom here, you can just scroll all the way down and you're able to see the ratio and the activities here. If you're looking to see the actual phases and stages mapped out, you're simply just going to click on any of these phases and it will take you into that opportunity pipeline. So let me go back into the buyers, for example. If I click on appointment, it's going to bring me here, and now I'm able to see all the opportunities in all of the different stages that I have. Now, just so everyone knows, when you're viewing all of these opportunities under the specific phases, which are these up top, you can choose if you want to view your opportunities as a list view or in the board view. So again, there's no rhyme or reason, there's no right or wrong way. It depends on you as a person and how you visually see things and what's going to work best for you. If you prefer to see the actual little cards where you have your client's name, the addresses, the date that it was created, and your potential commission, that's fantastic. If you prefer this list view where you're seeing everything listed out in more of a grid, then you can utilize this view as well. Either way, you're going to be able to see all of the different opportunities laid out. And you can also rearrange them here as well. Or whether you're in the board view, you can rearrange them here. Now, in addition to rearranging these opportunities, we can also use this application to move our opportunities as we progress throughout the deal. So let's say I did my follow-up and I got in touch with Amy Poehler and Tina Fey, and they're ready to buy their house. I've met with them and they made their decision that I'm going to be their realtor, which is fantastic. I can actually take this opportunity and drag it and drop it into the next phase of the pipeline. And now when I go to active, I'm able to see that they are now actively in the search stage. And maybe I had talked with them and they were already looking at houses, so I can then move them over. Now, by being able to rearrange where your opportunities are, this is going to help for a few different reasons. It's of course going to help to see a more not realistic, what's the word I'm looking for? A better view of what your probable potential outcome could be, blanking on that word right now, but that will help to recalculate the numbers and help you get a better idea of what that money amount would be. But then this is also great because it's going to help you keep track of everything, so you know exactly where everyone is in each phase of the transaction. If, let's say, every Monday or every other Monday or however often you want to come in here and you want to review all of the opportunities that you have, we can come in here and say, all right, let me call Olivia Rodrigo. Let me call Dwayne Johnson and see how they're doing. And as time moves on, I can then move them along. And then when I come back, I'll say, all right, well, I know that I talked to them, last month. I don't need to check in on them just yet. But this way you can see who is in your pipeline and you can begin to nurture those relationships and hopefully turn that contact into a true client and move forward with the deal. Really quickly, what I just clicked on was the sort by filter. So if you wanted to, you can arrange all of these opportunities based on the opportunity name, by the commission amount, or by the closing date. Now you see when I jump around, not a lot of these things move. And this is really dependent on how much information you're telling the system when you're first creating the opportunity, as well as when you're working with it as the deal progresses. So let's go ahead and actually create an opportunity. Now, you can create an opportunity from a number of different ways throughout the dashboard. This is the great thing about Command, is that whether you are creating an opportunity, adding someone to a smart plan, adding someone to an email list, different things like that, you can do so from many different areas within the dashboard. So it just depends on what page you're currently on or where you may feel most comfortable starting something. Now you can see that I have this create opportunity button here. And when I click on it, it's going to default to my opportunity type as listing. That's because I'm currently in the listings pipeline. If I go back to the main opportunities page and I click on create opportunity, we see that the opportunity type is not defaulted for us. We would have to go in and select it ourselves. Now, additionally, you can create an opportunity directly from your contact card. I personally think that this is probably the best way to do it, especially if you just meet someone and you add them into your dashboard and you want to then create an opportunity right then and there. Are you 100% sure that you're going to be working with this person as a client? No. Are you 50% sure? No. Are you hopeful that this will happen? And maybe you didn't even talk about real estate during your first meeting, but you hope to reach back out, nurture that relationship, and turn this person into a client. All of those scenarios are A-okay, and we encourage you to create an opportunity regardless of how sure you are that this person may actually turn into a client. So I'm going to go and I'm going to click on Bruno Mars's contact here. Again, like I said, it's all my favorite people, my favorite celebrities. Now, while I'm in their contact card, I'm then going to click on opportunities. And now I can click on create opportunity. Now, what's really great is that by doing it, creating the opportunity through the contact card, we now see that the client's name is automatically populated. This is not the end of the world. I think it saves a little bit of time by having to type in the person's name and then selecting them here. Is it the end of the world? Again, no, I just find that it's a little bit easier, but that's just me. Whatever's going to work for you is going to work best for you. But we do see how we are able to add co-sellers onto our opportunities. Now, if I had another contact connected with Bruno, so for example, if I want to add a relationship, let's say, he and The Rock are business partners now, I can go ahead and I can change their relationship to business partner. And I'm going to click on save. Now, when I go to create that opportunity, we see that Bruno's name automatically pops up. And now when I click on co-seller, The Rock's name is going to come up because he's a related contact to Bruno Mars. So I hope that makes sense to everyone. It's just, again, an easier way to add multiple people onto an opportunity, especially if you may be working with a pair of spouses or brothers, cousins, anything like that. Now, most important to remember when you are creating the opportunity is to select the right opportunity type. This I can't stress enough. The reason why this is so important is because each opportunity type has a different checklist. So it means different documents that are required, different pieces of information that may be needed. And what you do for a listing is not going to be the same as what you do for a buyer. It's not going to be the same as what you do when you're representing a landlord or a tenant. So you want to ensure that the correct checklists are populating. Now, the opportunity type is the one thing that cannot be changed after your opportunity has been created. All of the other details that we're going to review are going to be editable once that opportunity has been created. But if you create a listing opportunity and then you realize the next day, oh, what was I thinking? He's a buyer. You will have to then create a new opportunity. It's not the end of the world. Hopefully you don't do too much before you have to create that new opportunity, but just make a note that you want to be very cautious to select the correct opportunity type. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in buyer for this example. Now I can change the opportunity name. And if you are dealing with a listing or a landlord where you know the property address, highly recommend adding that into the property name. If you're working with a buyer or a tenant, you probably don't know this information right off the bat, so you don't have to include it. But if there is anything else that you want to include in here, you can. Maybe you like to divide all of your opportunities and name them based on the town that the person lives in or that they're looking in. So maybe he's going to be looking in Rutherford, so I can say he's a Rutherford buyer. Custom tags are something that I wouldn't worry about at this point in time. Instead, we want to focus on more of the details towards the bottom of our creation. Now, by putting in the estimated closed date, this is going to give us a better idea as to, the different timing and all of that. So let's say this person's buying, maybe they're hoping to close at the end of March. We can also put in a time frame. Again, I would not really focus on the time frame. I'd say an estimated close date is a more important piece of information. Even more so, the budget. That's going to be important. So if Bruno Mars says to me, listen, my budget is $900,000, I'm going to go ahead and put that budget in, and then I'm going to plug in my commission rate. Now, remember, these can be changed, and it's not set in stone. Maybe you don't have an agreement yet for what your commission rate will be. No problem. You can always put in a temporary number and change it later on. Same thing with the budget. This is really just to help calculate that potential and that probable GCI. So you can visualize and see what your gross commission income could be. So it doesn't need to be exact, and you can always change it later on. Finally, we see that we can now place this opportunity in the correct phase and stage. So I've talked with Bruno. He and I, we've become great friends over the last few months. And he called me up last week and he's like, listen, I know that I want to buy a house and I want you to be my realtor. In this instance, I would put him in the activate phase. And maybe we are already in the showing stage of our process. Now, again, if these don't mean anything to you, you can go in and change them. I encourage you to do so. Again, you guys know this a lot better than me, these different stages and where people may be within the transaction. So go off of how you normally do business, about how everything's going to work for you. And you can always go back and change things again later on. So you can keep tweaking it until you get it right. One thing that you will notice is that it only shows me the first 3 phases, which are cultivate, appointment, and active. It doesn't allow me to create an opportunity and automatically plop it into the under contract or the closed phase. This is because the idea behind Command is that we want you to create these opportunities from the very beginning of this transaction. Robin, go right ahead.
Sorry.
No, you're
so
fine.
I created an opportunity. And then, okay, let me go back. So I'm in the opportunity. I clicked on the opportunity, and then I'm going to click on her little square, right, to go to make some adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
And why is that side thing not picking up opportunity type? Or I already did that.
Yes, if you've already created the opportunity, then you won't see this particular view here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was ahead of you. Okay.
No, it's okay. We're going to be jumping right there in just a second. No problem.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
All good. All good. I know it's a lot of information that we go over in a short amount of time, so no problem at all. But really quickly, before we move on to the next part, I just want to reiterate the reason why we're only able to put them in 3 of the 5 phases is because we don't want you to wait until you're already under contract for you to then go in and create this opportunity in Command. Ideally, once you're under contract, you can go in and submit a majority of your documents for compliance approval, as well as submit your commission request. This is going to be beneficial for a number of reasons. First off, your MCA will have a better idea as to what checks may be coming in and what deals you may be closing soon. So this can help to estimate our market center's growth as well as your own. But this can also help you get paid faster. So if you put in your commission request before the deal closes and you upload all your documents and everything looks good, it's gonna help you get paid that much faster, because it's gonna shorten that time from when your deal closes to when you get paid, because a lot of this information that you need to input will already be here. Additionally, if you're missing a piece of information, maybe a signature was missing or a paper wasn't uploaded, whatever the case may be, you'll then have time to go in and fix it. That way we're not waiting until you had your closing on Friday and now it's Monday and you're anxious to get paid, but we don't have half of your documents uploaded and approved. We don't want that. We want you guys to get paid out as fast as possible. So by getting in the habit of creating this opportunity right off the bat and adding in everything as you go, it'll really help to speed up the process for everyone. Now that I've plugged in the main information for my opportunity here, I'm going to click on Create. And now we see that this opportunity is going to show up at the top of my opportunities section. Now, again, this is just my pretend dashboard. I don't really have, 10 deals with Peru that are pending or that may have happened. But, you may see one or two depending on if it's a repeat client or if maybe this person was under contract and the deal fell through, different things like that. I'm going to now click in to my opportunity. And from here, we can see that we can input more information and we have more to utilize. So on the details page, we're able to see a lot more information. If I go ahead and I click on this pencil icon, I can come in and I can add any additional information or change anything. So maybe, we found a home and the commission rate is actually going to be 3% instead of 2.5. I can go in and change that now. Oh, look at that finance type. I think that's new. You can plug in the finance type of your client if you know it. So maybe he's just going to be a conventional loan. Maybe he upped his budget. Maybe we're now at $1 million and I want to plug that in. And then I can plug in all of these details. All of these details here don't matter to the compliance checkers. And this is not going to, what I mean by that is this is not going to prohibit you from closing the deal and getting paid out. This is all here for you to utilize in whichever way you need. So maybe you had your appointment scheduled on December 1st and you met with them on the 13th. As time goes on, you can come back in here and plug in when the agreement was won, the contract date, the close date, etc. This can also help when you are filling in your commission as well. So, let's say I'm going to plug in some dates in the future here, but let's say maybe on Monday was when the agreement was won. Let's say the contract is going to be signed on January 14th, and our closing date is going to be March 21st. February 21st. Let's just do March just in case. I'm going to save this information. And now we see we have all that information showing up here. I can come in here and I can change it. I can edit it. That is no problem at all. Additionally, it's really good to plug in the property address here as well. Now, I highly recommend doing this when you're working with a buyer and also when you're working with a listing. You will sometimes see when you're working with an opportunity for a seller that you have to select the listing. Let me go back here. This is a listing opportunity. Oh, I already plugged one in for that. Bad example. Hold on, let's see. There we go. So now we're looking at a listing opportunity. And we see here that we have our contact attached. And it's also asking us to select from listings to input that property address. Now, I've had a few agents who say, my listing isn't on the market anymore. I can't find it when I search for the listings. What do I do? Because it won't actually allow you to submit your commission request without having this listing plugged in. The easy way around this is to simply go into the details and edit the property information. So let me go ahead. I'm just going to put in our office address. New Jersey, everything will populate on its own. And as soon as I click save, watch the select from listings behind me. As soon as I click save, we now see that that address populates us to where the listing will be. Now, when I'm in the buy side opportunity, notice how I don't have that listing option there. That is because we're not listing a house, we're buying a house, but we can still go in and add that property address right here. And this will help when we are submitting that commission information. Additionally, what we're going to see here, on my view, is for a really great tool that we have called Porch. Now, if you don't have Porch here, what you can do is click on the little marketplace icon. That will take you into the Keller Williams Marketplace. You can search for Porch. Oh, come on, there we go. And then we can go ahead and view this product. Now, I already clearly have this installed in my dashboard, so it says Manage App. You may see something like request information or view subscriptions, different things like that. Please note that this is completely free for us to use. Even if it says something like click here to sign up or register, click that button and you should still be able to have this added into your dashboard. And once you do, you can double check in the applications and the settings to make sure it's there, but you will see this show up within your opportunities. Porch is a repair estimate report service where you can upload the inspection report from your buyer into the system, and it will take local data to give you real estimates for what these different repairs could cost based on the area in which we are. For example, I bought my house 2 years ago. I took my inspection report and I loaded it into the Porch system. I wonder if I can pull that up. I'll have to see at the end if I can pull that up. Here's this, okay, perfect. Here's a sample. Let's show you guys really quickly because I do think this is really important. Here's an example of what a report could look like. So I was in Command. I got permission from my buyer to upload their report. I clicked on Get Started. I'm going to click on Get Started again. I'm simply going to drag and drop or upload my inspection report here. And then I think you just verify that you have permission from the buyer and you click Submit. Within 24 to 48 hours, you're then going to get a report that breaks down all of the different notes from the inspection based on the different categories. So framing, roofing, your HVAC, the chimney. I mean, everything is divided for you. And we're able to see what page that inspection note is from, as well as the estimate for the repair. And again, this is using local data of all these different companies from our area to estimate what this cost would be. Now, what's even cooler is that you have the ability to mark on behalf of your client if they would like to request a credit, if they'd like to request a repair, or if they'd like to request a replacement. So they can come in and you can work with them to pick and choose whatever they'd like to request. So maybe, this cracked rafter was noted. Maybe you want a credit and you can request a credit amount. So maybe for this, you'd like to request $300. The siding had some damage. So maybe you want to request again a credit. I don't know. Let me see what else. Garage door stripping is missing. So maybe you can request a repair. Electrician, replace the breaker. So you can request replacement. And you see as you go on and on, you have these options. Of course, you don't have to check off everything. Once again, you guys know this a lot better than I do, but you can go through the list and pick and choose. You can also add notes in here. Once you preview and share it, you're then able to see all of the different items you've selected and your requests there, whether it is a repair, a credit, or a replacement. So again, that's the Porch system. It's kind of a hidden gem within the opportunities. Again, click on this little marketplace icon. You'll be brought to the marketplace where there's a ton of other great apps available. Not all of them are free. This one is, but definitely go in here and take a look and see what we have to offer. Once you have that downloaded in your command, you'll then be able to utilize the Porch estimate report directly from the details page in that opportunity. Now, I think we got a little ahead of ourselves, or I got a little ahead of myself talking about Porch. That's an example where we already have the inspection report back and we're halfway through that process. But what happens when we first start working with someone and we need to start getting paperwork? We need a contract to present our offer. This is where we're going to come into the documents section. Now, I want to stress how important this is to get everything done in this order. Most importantly, you want to create your contact in command. So you want to add your client as a contact. You then want to create the opportunity. Once you create the opportunity, you want to come into documents. And the very first thing you want to do is pick your checklist type. Now, depending on what market center you're in, you may or may not have this. I'm not sure about the others. I'm in Park Views and Rutherford. So for us, we have 2 different checklist types that are available. And in our office, it's either telling the system that you're working on a residential deal or a commercial deal. And depending on which one you choose, you're going to have different checklists populate. So I'm going to choose residential. And now I'm able to see that I have my residential buyer checklist pop up. It's going to be 3 different checklists. that are going to tell you all the documents that are going to be required, conditional, optional during every step of the deal. So when I first meet with my buyer, I know that I'm going to need to get the CIS signed, the wire fraud signed, and the dual agency signed, potentially the exclusive buyer agreement if that is applicable. Go ahead.
How did you get, I'm sorry, so I'm in my, I clicked on her, I'm in my buyer, and I just go to documents. Is that where you went to?
Yep, you'll go to documents, and then towards the left side, you should see a drop down that says pick checklist type.
Maybe I did that already. I have a feeling I did that already. Okay.
You may have already done it. If you're seeing the different checklists, that means you're already there.
Okay. And I'm under contract now, so I should have stuff on the right side. Okay, never mind.
Yep.
Keep going.
Yep. All good. All good. All good. That's what we're here for. It's A-okay. But yes, exactly. And once you select that checklist type, it will always live here. So you don't have to do it over and over again. It will stay here. But now we're able to see all the documents that we need. So we really are viewing this as a checklist for all the documents that we need in order to be compliant. And we have it broken up based on when you may need these documents throughout the deal. So if I go to under contract, I'm now able to see that I'm going to need my contract, the business disclosure, COVID waiver, etc. I have some conditional documents and then some optional documents as well. Now you will notice that I have these funny looking DS icons next to some of these documents. This green square with the DS stands for Docusign. Now, if your market center isn't set up with this just yet, I know that it's in the works. I know Reese has been working on this, so it's something that is going to happen for you soon if it doesn't already appear for you in this view. But the beauty of having this notified, this little icon here, is that when you create a room in Docusign through the opportunity, all of these forms are going to be automatically put in the room for you. So this is why this workflow is so important. Again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. You add your contact into command. You add your client in as a contact. You then create the opportunity. Then you pick the checklist type from within the documents. You want to do that first. Then what you want to do is click on this beautiful Start a Transaction button. When I click on Start a Transaction, it will automatically open up Docusign. May need to log in if you haven't already done so that day. But once I'm in Docusign, I can now see that a room has been created. It is named exactly the same as what I named my opportunity, and a majority of the documents that I need are already going to be inputted into the Docusign room.
When did you say where start a transaction?
That is going to be towards the right side when you're under documents.
Oh, I probably did it already. So I just going to do go to transaction then for me.
Exactly. Bingo.
Okay.
If you've already started that transaction, as soon as you go back into command, as you can see here, that button switches to go to transaction. So that means that you've already created that room and that room is connected into this opportunity. So this is going to make it a heck of a lot easier for you to bring over all your signed documents once they've been filled out and signed. Now, before I show you that area, I just want to point out one thing. For example, in our under contract section, we have the waiver of inspection and the virtual showing of property forms as conditional documents, but we have linked them so the forms are added into your Docusign room automatically. Now, you may not need them, and that is totally fine. If you ever are in Docusign and you see a document that you don't need in here, you can always right-click it and delete it, or you can just ignore it. It's up to you. But we would rather have all of the agents have more documents than they need, as opposed to you guys trying to scramble around and trying to find them from within Docusign. So
if you have them, you delete them, and you realize that you need it again, you can go and search for it.
Always, you can always go and add the documents back in. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Are you all right? I am. Yeah, I'm on the call right now. When I'm done, I'm going to say hi. Okay. So yes, absolutely. You can always go in and add documents back in if you accidentally delete one, or if there's a form that doesn't load in here and you need, you'll always be able to just click on add Docusign forms, just like you would when you're using Docusign in any other way. Now, what's also really nice about the connection between the opportunity and Docusign is that a lot of the information that we've inputted within the opportunity is then going to transfer over into Docusign. So not only is the name of my opportunity exactly the same as the name in Docusign Rooms, but the address that I've inputted is showing up here. And when I go to details, I'm able to see a lot of the information that I've inputted. So when I scroll down again, I'm able to see my contract amount. Again, I mean, this is a potential thing. I know this isn't exactly what that contract amount can be, so you can always change that. And it will plug in some expected dates as well. And as we scroll down and down, I'm able to see that my buyer's information is inputted into the buyer 1 section, as well as the buyer 2 section, because I have 2 different contacts from within the command dashboard. Now, what's also really great about this is that this is going to save you a heck of a lot of time once you have everything signed and everything's been filled out and you're ready to submit it all. No longer will you need to go into Docusign, download all your files, save them on your computer, re-upload them into Command. Because we have this connection between the 2 platforms, I can attach files from Docusign or my computer. If you're attaching them from Docusign, you will need to select the Room Docs folder. I don't know why this pops up. It just does. That's the best answer I have. I know it's not the greatest, but you will just need to go and select that room folder. And then when I click on these drop-down menus, only the signed documents will show up because we don't want to add a form that doesn't have signatures on it. So that's why we're seeing no options when I click on this drop-down menu, is because I myself don't have any signed documents in my room. But once I do, I'm then able to simply click and match up all of my documents. So I'd click this and then I'd select the contract. I'd click on this drop down and I'd click on the business disclosure, and I would keep going. And ideally, this can be done in just a matter of minutes because all of the documents that are signed are in Docusign. So they already have that connection. And then as soon as you have your documents all matched up, you just click on Submit to MC, and that will then submit the documents to the compliance to be checked. Please note that you do need to click on the Submit to MC button for every checklist that you have. So you'll have to do it for consultation, under contract, and then if you are the one to upload your closing disclosure and your commission check, same thing. Now in this example, we don't have these in our Docusign, so I can just say, well, I'm going to attach them from my computer, and then I can just either drag and drop the file or click that and, to open up all of my documents here, and then select the one that I want.
Can I interrupt again?
Please.
So once you do whatever you want to do with whatever documents you're doing, you have to submit them to,
Yes.
even if you're just in consultation.
So that's what we recommend. So you want to wait to submit them until you have all of the required documents and any conditional or optional documents that you'll need finished and uploaded. So, you know, let's say you're just beginning to work with someone and they signed the CIS, they signed the wire fraud, and for some reason they didn't get the dual agency form. You don't want to submit the whole folder just yet. You want to wait until you have that last document, and then you submit everything at once.
Okay, but when you're like, I'm putting an offer in for clients and we're at the point where we're negotiating back and forth. It's just really the contract at this point. So I did dot loop because I had to, but it's just the contract. But now I'm gonna, like, once we agree by the end of the week, I want to do it all in here. So then once I have all the documents, then I submit it to the MC, even though even though it's not accepted, or I wait for it's accepted? I wait for it to be an accepted offer.
You
Okay.
can wait until it's accepted. You know, I think in this situation, it wouldn't matter too much. I don't, you know, because this is not going to prohibit the deal from closing or you getting paid out from the deal, since it still is early on in the transaction process.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Definitely though, once you go under contract and you have all the under contract documents signed, I would then submit those, just like I said before, in case a signature was missing, or, you know, a line on the contract wasn't filled out. You then have time to get that remedied before the deal closes. And, you know, no one wants to go back to their client 2 weeks after and say, hey, can you sign this wire fraud form for me? So this is going to really help to eliminate some of those stresses.
Thank you.
You're welcome, of course. Does anyone else have a question?
Amanda, I know it's not exactly Docusign class, but the other day I was struggling with the signatures. So I had it all set up, but when I say try to send it for signatures, I couldn't figure out exactly how to assign those signatures.
Okay. If you want, I can, there's a video on our YouTube channel that I can send to you. On Thursday, Reese and I host an Ask Us Anything at 10 a.m. And that's where we welcome all questions for anything tech related. So if you have availability to join us on Thursday at 10, we can definitely review this with you.
And she's having a Docusign class in 10 minutes too, Reese.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Yeah. Just let me know.
Thank you. And so there we go. You'll definitely be able to get that answered in Reese's class in 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So I don't want to take up too much more of your time, especially I know probably a lot of you want to go to that Docusign class. Just one other thing that I like to point out with the opportunity is that you can also, you know, put in your commission information while the deal is under contract. Regardless if you're working with a buyer or a seller, you will have to put in the offer information. This is simply coming in here and adding new offer. You can rename it if you want, you don't have to. And then it's going to walk you through a 4-step process. It may look a little bit different depending on if it's a seller or a buyer. But for the buyer, we want to have the offer date and the close date, which you can come in and change by simply clicking on the calendar and changing the date. Property, this is also where we can then put in that address. Next, we go to parties. All we need to do is input the name of the opposite person, the person on the opposite side of the deal, and their associate's name. So in this case, it would be the seller. So maybe Bruno is buying his house from Kanye West. Oh boy, I don't know why I used him as an example. And we're going to use Kanye's realtor, who will be Kim Kardashian, because why not? The rules are made up and everything's pretend anyway. And then I'm going to go to terms. You'll notice that you can't actually click in the sales price box. You'll need to plug in the money amount between the cash and finance amount. Now, this is not for anyone else, it's just for you. So if your selling price is $1 million, just put in $1 million right in either one of these boxes. It truly doesn't matter. You just want the sales price to reflect that correct amount. And then when you go to agent analysis, this is up to you to use. Reese and I, every other week, we have a how to get paid in command, which I focus a lot on this in more detail. So if anyone has any availability to join us this coming Thursday, I'd love to review it with you. But this is a spot for you to put in any advice or guidance for your client if you'd like. If not, you just leave it blank and click save. Once you have your offer in command, you'll then click accept, and then you can come in here and manage the commission. Now, what's nice is that a lot of this information here is filled in from the details section, but if we needed to come in and edit anything else, so for example, changing that commission rate, changing the close date, anything like that, we can come in here and make those edits, and we'll click on Save Changes, and then we submit. And submitting this commission request is also, you know, suggested that you do this when you're under contract. If something were to happen, the deal falls through, you know, there's money that's going to be added or taken away, you can always connect with your MCA and they'll be able to work with you to remedy that. But again, we'll go over this in a lot more detail on Thursday at 10, and we do that every other Thursday. So we welcome you all to join us then. I'm sorry, Thursday at 1. Thursday at 1 is how to get paid. Every Thursday at 10, we do the Ask Us Anything. So in summary, I really want you guys to think of the opportunities as not just something that you have to do in order to get paid. I really want to try to change your mindset by viewing this as a tool that can help you stay on track with all of your leads, help you to nurture your relationship, see what your probable and potential GCI could be, and really just making your life easier by keeping everything in their respective buckets, their respective folders, and that'll help keep you really organized as well. Before we say goodbye, are there any other questions that I can answer for you guys? I'll also put my email in the chat. If you did want to reach out, if you have any questions down the road, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
No, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you, Amanda.
You are very, very welcome. One more thing before I say goodbye. As I'm sure you already know, we like to review this during every class, but please check out the Bergen County Partners YouTube channel on YouTube, obviously. This is a great resource. Chris does a phenomenal job at uploading all of our classes to here, whether it's classes that the tech trainers teach, career builders, any specialties that we have. You can always come back here and rewatch classes. We are trying to come up with some short, quick tip videos as well. So if you have any ideas for something that could be beneficial, please let us know. But go to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and you'll stay up to date with all the content that we have to offer. Again, I thank you all so much for joining me. I hope that everyone has a great rest of their day and a really great, happy and healthy holiday season. Thanks so much. Have a good one, everyone.